Hey class, it's the beginning of week two, and I thought I'd check in a little bit with you to discuss how things went in week one and some things to look forward to in week two. So, first of all, a few administrative items. Question came up in our open forum about deadlines. Deadlines are midnight, 11:59, whatever you want to call it, on Monday. Let me tell you how I arrived at Monday as a deadline. Used to have it as Sunday night, figuring that most folks, it's about the weekend before they can really get into some of the deliverables for the week. But at the same time, sometimes weekends fill up a bit. And so I moved it to Monday night. So that's the science behind it. I've been doing this class for 4 years and just finally arrived maybe a year ago at doing Monday nights. You'll notice that the discussions and drop boxes, although they have open dates, they have no close dates. That does not mean that you won't be late. Due dates are always Mondays at 11:59. And if you post things or respond past that deadline, then it'll be late. And that I'll ask you to check out someplace on course. Well, I'll have it posted on Course News so you can get to it. But the grading rubric that I'll use at the end of the 3 modules to evaluate your work during that 4 or 5 weeks that we were working along on either personal, team, or organizational leadership. What else I want to say? Okay, we are into the second week, so that means that from this point forward, I will not respond to any emails that don't have a memphis.edu or are from the e-courseware system itself. FERPA rules and just good hygiene preclude me from doing that. So what will happen is that many of you, because it happens all the time, will forget and send me an email with this not one of those two, and you're going to be wondering why the old guy's not responding. Well, remember this, and maybe it'll dawn on you at some point. So help me with that, and it just works better. Take my word for it. As far as the current discussion, and in terms of introducing yourselves and what leaders do, I'd have to say that you're doing a great job out of the box. A lot of good engagement. Some of you have not even read or done any reading of post and have not responded. Today's the day if you're going to get credit for it. And as you know, I've asked you to respond to 3 others. Do that within your group if you would, but week to week, don't always respond to the same 3 group members, all right? Try to spread yourself around. If you want to respond to more than 3, and some of you have, that's certainly okay. The more feedback that we get, the better. One of the things that I have seen with, I think, 2 or 3 posts, and it's very early in the semester to see it, and I'm delighted, is that some of you have challenged each other on your picks for what leaders do. That's really important. When we get into our team modules and look at Lencioni's work, and especially his take on conflict, which anytime we have disagreement, we have conflict, and that's great. Being able to mine and effectively and productively manage conflict is important. So keep it up. Don't be afraid to disagree. Of course, we explain why. But that's the way we really learn, is when we get a little pushback from each other, and that's absolutely okay. Let's see. I will be posting also the results, what leaders do that you have been responding to. And by the way, let me just interject. The way the discussions go is that you'll get the assignment on Monday. You'll have until the next Monday to post your response to it, and by the next Monday, you are to have replied to 3 other folks. So it does stretch out, and what it does is it gives you some overlap. For example, this week too, you've got a deadline of next Monday to finish the replies to the first week's discussion. So in week 1, by the second Monday, you've got to post your thing. By the next Monday, you've got to respond to at least 3 of your folks. Now, if you guys want to respond to responses and really mix it up on those questions, again, that's another reason why those discussions don't close. That's your learning. So do as you will. You might even, within your own groups, create some ground rules as to how you'd like to get even more out of those discussions and get to know each other better and more quickly. Other things that you'll see, of course, is that we kind of build this thing in layers. First week, you were introduced to EQ 2.0 and One Piece of Paper. Both of those books, we're going to be working pieces of that throughout the course as we go through personal, team, and group leadership. So, and some weeks they'll overlay. You'll be doing more than one thing in more than one book. Try to keep it manageable in terms of the workload, but that's something for you to look at. Now, the interesting thing about the What Leaders Do, let me get back to that, is that was a survey that was done by the Center for Creative Leadership back in 2007, I think it was. And it was 240 senior leaders, folks who had come through all their programs. And by far, the two items that were way ahead of the others in terms of what leaders do, not what they are. And I think some of the qualities in here are more what leaders are than what they do, but all of them are very desirable. 87% of them had building relationships. And I won't post your results until, the thing closes tonight. So sometime tomorrow, Tuesday, I'll post what the team results are. But I'm delighted to tell you that far and away, the most important leadership things that leaders do that you guys, your own data, has building relationships way out in front. Number two, and this is where your research or your results deviate from theirs, managing change was at 64, so relationships was 87. Managing change was 64. The next closest was decisiveness at 38. So building relationships and managing change are way out in front. And so if that influences any responses that you want to make, that'll be fine. But I find it instructional. I use this little survey with almost any leadership group with whom I work. And so I would challenge you to think about how leaders, is it up to leaders to help drive change? And of course, the answer to that is yes. And so what are the things that we do? Well, evidently, they think there's a relationship between managing change, which is a task-oriented behavior, and building relationships, which is a relationship-oriented behavior. So I hope that helps. And so I'd like you to frame almost everything we do this semester is how will this make me lead change or build relationships? Maybe you'll look at it, how do these things like EQ 2.0, how will that make me better at building relationships? And I think that if I can build strong relationships, I'll be more effective leading change. And I'm sure you'll agree that that's probably true. So I just offer those two things up as a lens for you to look through almost everything that we do. The other qualities, the ones that a lot of you picked, very good, very strong. I don't think there's anything on the list that any of us would not want to attribute to ourselves in a big measure. But again, it's what do leaders do? Manage change and build relationships. So that's about it. This week, look ahead to, we're going to really get more into the emotional intelligence, the EQ 2.0. And one of your assignments is to do a little research around your office. Or group or club or whatever it is. And the other one is that we're going to develop our own personal action plan for improving our self-awareness, regardless of how you scored. Okay. One of the things that I'm also, just as I'm delighted that you're challenging each other, one of the things that I'd like to see demonstrated is a level of humility. Any of these assessments that we take, I hope that you're answering them as honestly and as straightforward as you can, because that's the way we learn, and it's okay to not be strong in particular areas. One of the things that leaders really can't afford to have are blind spots or things about us that we're not aware of, but others are. And so it's okay to need some work. And in fact, through this semester, that's what we'll be doing. We're going to be, regardless of how you scored on your EQ 2.0, I'm going to be tasking you in all four dimensions to create and execute and report back on an improvement plan in any of those areas. Okay, fair enough. So it's about developing our leadership style, our own leadership effectiveness, regardless of where you are or where people tell you are on the leadership ladder. We can always get sharper at it because we want to be able to build relationships and manage change. I guess that's about it for now. Thanks for taking the time to listen. I hope that gets you grounded on some of our administrative issues, how things were looking in week one. And I hope you get excited about week two. I think you're going to find it exciting. And the reason that it's exciting is because it's all about you. And so basically you are systematically doing a selfie in terms of our assessments and our introspection and our personal action plans. So it's just another selfie week. Thanks a lot.